So we're standing on this old garage here in Worthington, Ohio. It's very common to see these older garages pitted out just because of all the salt that we get in Ohio. We've had multiple people reach out to us and ask us about how to address the heavy spalling and damaged pitting like you see in this garage here. So in this video, we're gonna show how to address that, but we'll go ahead and walk through the whole process here in a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and prep. We're gonna shot blast it first. The shot blasting is just gonna help to get in the low spots that the grinder can't get. We're gonna patch some of the lower spots. We're gonna actually skim out this whole garage with just 100% solids epoxy. And after that, we're gonna follow up by then grinding the surface just to flatten it out and prep everything else really well to get to that point when we go to apply our base coat and flake. So we got everything prepped and ready here. The guys, we shot blasted, ground it, got it all cleaned up. So now, before we start skimming out the whole area, there's a couple deep spots throughout the rest of the garage, just because the skim, it's gonna be lower viscosity. So if it's too deep, it'll kind of pool there and you'll have like an indent and you'll see it through the finish. So before we start to skim again, we're gonna go around with a material that's a little bit thicker. That'll fill all those little smaller pitting. All right, so we got everything pretty well patched up, at least for the deep stuff. So we're ready to start skimming out everything. For this, we're just gonna use like a regular 100% solids epoxy. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. This process is pretty straightforward. We're just gonna go ahead and mix up the material that we're using, and then we're just gonna use a 14-inch flat trowel to skim it out. When we're skimming, you wanna just try to leave everything as flat as you can so that when you go to throw the flake into it, everything's gonna be flat and you won't have any ridges or anything potentially poking out through the finish. We got everything skimmed out here. If you're skimming it out and you happen to notice that when you're done, there's still some low spots, you can skim it out again. Just let the skim set up, come back after it's set up, and then skim it again just to be safe. The return to service time after you skim it will depend on the product that you're using. So the material that we use here today sets up really quick, so it'll be ready for us to coat on it again within about an hour or two, depending on the temperature. If you want to use a coating like Hyperbond per se, that again we went over in another video, that material you want to let set up about 12 to 18 hours, again, just depending on the temperature. Let that firm up so it's hard enough that it can fill those voids. We've got this skimmed out here. We're gonna just let this set up enough. After it is set up enough, we're gonna lay our base coat and we'll flake here. And then after that's set up, we'll come back tomorrow and we will lay the top coat and get this project finished up. So yesterday we went ahead, we got everything prepped, patched, coated, and flaked, and now we're back here today. We let the coating set up overnight. So to get into it today, we're just gonna clean up all the excess flake, just get it scraped. We'll buff it too to kind of tighten up the surface a little bit, back that up, and then we'll be ready to lay the top coat. So we got this project all wrapped up. You can just see what a difference it is from start to finish. Just taking the extra time to make sure all those divots, cracks, things like that are repaired. Even if it takes going over it a few extra times, it's just worth it to get everything flattened out and ready for when you go to lay the coating. If you're also wondering about how we applied the polyaspartic top coat, we'll leave the link to another video in the description. You can check that out. That'll kind of show the polyaspartic that we used for this project and how we installed it. If you're looking to get a hold of any of the materials that we use in this video, whether it be a repair, top coat, or anything in between, check out our website, or you can email me directly. I'm happy to take care of you. We'll leave links to all that in the description. I'm Trent Martin with Columbus Epoxy, and thanks for checking out this video.